Hello, welcome back. Gonna continue off with the game here. We're on sequence 9, A Night to Remember. Progression low. Perks. Get in there. Well, here we have Crawford Starrick, who we're going after next. Born on the 18th of August, 1827. Crawford Stark was born in the West End of London, the younger son of Robert Stark, a wealthy but unlanded businessman who had famously tripled the value of his family estate as a young man by investing in the heady early days of railway mania. There's probably a magazine called Railway Mania, isn't there? The Stark boys were bred for competition. Throughout their early childhood, they were neck and neck in academics and sports, almost as often as they were at each other's necks. Boys through and through, their mother observed proudly, never suspecting anything darker beneath the surface. When Crawford was 12, boarding school provided an opportunity. He at last had room to grow. He was ostracized by his house, sarcastically dubbed Lord Stark for the airs he put on. In his private notebooks, he began to see humanity as divided into two strata, those who served and those who ruled. Naturally, he fell into the latter category. Recognizing that he would earn no friends at school, he settled instead for lackeys. He sharpened his charm to a fine point, hid his disdain behind smiles and helpful words, until he could bend teachers and peers to his will. A natural gift for leadership, teachers would remark. Shows great improvement. Young Crawford has come into his own. The feeling of power and control was addictive. Upon graduation, he modeled himself as a railroad baron, and through smart purchasing and the strange disappearance of the competition, he rose to the top. With his larger fortune, he expanded into many different industries, also broadening his reach across London. He fell in love once, and only once, to a businesswoman as ruthless as he, but she refused to marry him. Crazy woman, eh? Get some inventory. Belts. Nothing new. Auto database, encyclopedia, collectibles, royal correspondence. We got one from June 13th, 1865. To the Prince of Wales, my dear Bertie, I fear I cannot admire the names you propose to give the baby. I had hoped for some fine old name. Frederick is, however, the best of the two, and I hope you will call him so. George only came over with a Hanoverian family. However, if the dear child grows up good and wise, I shall not mind what his name is. Of course you will add Albert at the end. Like your brothers, as you knew, we settled long ago that all dear Papa's male English descendants should bear that name, to mark our line, just as I wish all the girls to have Victoria at the end of theirs. I lay great stress on this, and it is done in a great many families. Now we have one from February 6, 1866, from the Queen's Journal. A fine morning, terribly nervous and agitated, at 10:30 left Windsor for London, with the children, ladies and gentlemen, great crowds out, and so I had, for the first time since my great misfortune, an escort, dressed after luncheon, which I could hardly touch. Wore my ordinary evening dress, only trimmed with miniver, and my cap with a long flowing tall veil, a small diamond and sapphire coronet, rather at the back, and diamonds outlining the front of my cap. It was a fearful moment for me when I entered the carriage alone, and the band played, also when all the crowds cheered, and I had great difficulty in repressing my tears, but our two dear affectionate girls were a true help and support to me, and they so thoroughly realized all I was going through. The crowds were most enthusiastic, and the people seemed to look at me with sympathy. We had both windows open, in spite of a very high wind. When I entered the house, which was very full, I felt as if I should faint. All was silent, and all greatly relieved when all was over. All was silent, and all eyes fixed upon me, and there I sat alone. I was greatly relieved when all was over, and I stepped down from the throne, so thankful that the great ordeal of today was well over, and that I was enabled to get through it. Okay. We have to reach the vault entrance.
What? What are you doing?
Exploiting. I warned you, my boy. But you do not listen.
Requiescat in pace. Take him!
London will soon be a victim of chaos. This city was a safe harbor, a light for all.
The shroud was never meant for you!
You would rather dis-
Mr. Starrick! You forgot to escort me home!
Let me rectify my mistake. Another crime. I will begin again. I admire your pluck. Come close.
Supposed to drop. Oh, you motherfucker.
Who will remain vigilant? No amount.
What's going on? Get down now. Jump down.
Get out of my city!
Evie!
It's Henry Green.
You cannot maintain this! We have you against the wall, Starrick! Starrick! Your end is near! Starrick! Your reign is nearly over!
It has barely begun.
Henry! shall we?
Let's.
London will perish
Without me. You flatter yourself. I would have created a paradise.
The city belongs to the people. You are but one man.
I am at the very top of the Order! You were, Mr. Starrick. You were. Shame we won't be partners anymore.
It's for the best, isn't it?
Are you gonna wear the shroud and run London?
Whatever it gives, it takes from someone else. You'd continue to age without me. You'd become like father.
A fate worse than death.
Will you wear it?
After you sorted out the boroughs, the chaos I caused, I couldn't compete.
Jacob Fry is stepping back. Who's blackmailing you? Is it George?
He wouldn't dare. I've missed you.
Me too. Would it be possible to continue where we left off?
I'd love nothing more.
I'm starting to think Father didn't know everything about everything. Henry.
It's a big world out there. With London in the center.
Perhaps not the very center.
I came as soon as I could. Do not worry. I'll head back to the train. Did I jeopardize the mission?
Henry, you saved it.
Oh.
I think you belong in the field. With me.
Never knew.
A carriage! Nicely done, Freddy.
Mr. Aberline, please.
Your Majesty.
Miss Fry.
You've met before?
Did I never mention?
Mr. Aberline informs me that you three are responsible for saving my life. Is this true?
It is, Your Majesty.
Evie Fry, step forward. And you?
My brother, ma'am. Jacob Fry. And this is Mr. Henry Green.
Mr. Fry? Mr. Green? Kneel. Arise. I invest you all in the Order of the Sacred Garter.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
If you are as adept as Mr. Aberline implies, I may call on you.
Sergeant Aberline tends to exaggerate, Your Majesty.
We shall meet again. And Miss Fry,
Ma'am?
should you want it, I saved you some cake.
Father would be proud of you.
Dame Evie Fry.
Sir Jacob Fry.
Race you to the train.
You're on.
Well, we did it. Wonder what's gonna happen next, but that's the end of this video. Have a good one. See you later.